Samantha Scroggins, Brian Scroggins, my husband, about our little backyard homestead that we started. It's in lieu of our farm that we'll hope to get eventually someday, but in the meantime, this is what we have in our backyard, what we can do. What got it started with this, sold these books. Backyard Homestead was definitely one that got me into it. Books are a really great reference. I've learned quite a bit just from reading books and just going out and doing it. If you're interested in starting your own little homestead, or if you're interested in farming or owning any animals or gardening or anything of that sort, books are definitely a way to go, plus the internet. These books are definitely informative and helpful. I would recommend them to any beginner, anyone interested to start these. E-books are especially useful. Let's go outside. Alright, this is our backyard. Just showing you a shot of it, what you can do. Obviously this isn't a large space, but it is bigger than your average backyard. But show you what you can do with the space, either this size or smaller. We could pack this in a little bit tighter, but we choose to spread it out. So let me start with our cold frame. Since it's now fall, it's getting chilly, so we can't really have the garden anymore. So my husband Brian constructed this for me. He made the plans. Just simple construction. Just have lettuces and spinach, things of that sort. Some dead plants in the back there I need to rip out. They didn't quite make it. But this is really easy to make. All you need is some spare wood. We use plastic. Don't have to worry about it getting broken or anything. It's really dirty from the cats crawling all over it. But let's go over to the chicken coop. As you can see, we have a kennel around it. We're both in the military, so we're not here as often as we'd like sometimes, and we would like to give the chickens a little bit more space to run. And since we had this lying around and not using it, I figured this would be a good use. Again, this is a design that we got out of one of the books. We adapted it to our own use.
I think this one came out of Country Wisdom.
This is going to get it's a little dirty, obviously.
Oh, looks like we got somebody.
So our barred rock hens, we have 4 of them. This spring they will be 2 years old and we'll probably be getting new chicks. And next fall they'll probably be going to the butcher. Have our chicken light in there, help keep production going since daylight hours are under 14 hours now. They're still going, but they've definitely slowed down.
So they stop laying there in the winter?
They will stop laying due to the decrease in daylight hours, but as long as you provide a light, they should keep on going. This is what we have set up down here. We have this trap door, so at night it helps retain their body heat, keeps predators such as Shinji out of there. Just have water that we hang from the front so they wouldn't step in it and get it disgusting. And then we used a pig feeder that we got from Rural King. That block back there is a flock block that we used in lieu of scratch grains. It was a little bit cheaper. Just leave it out here. And one less step in the morning that I have to do to feed these guys.
During the winter, we had the heated water container that really didn't work very well. So we found it easier to just come out and change the water twice a day to keep them having warm water. That's the egg box and trap door to get into the egg box.
Makes it a little bit easier. And in the winter time, they usually just stay upstairs or they'll come down to eat and drink, and we can close this to keep the sparrows out because they will eat all of their food. And as you can see, the debris on the bottom, it just, we clean it out twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall, and it makes really great fertilizer. We use leaves, we use straw to help break it down, and so you don't step in chicken poo, which kind of sucks. Over here, these are our newest acquisitions. We have a breeding trio, a buck and 2 does. Again, Brian made most of the design for their hutches.
Yeah, we weren't really prepared for the rabbits. We just decided to go do it. So all this stuff is kind of thrown together, and there's some improvements that need to be made. But right now, this is what we got.
This is one of our does. As you can see, the box is probably a little bit too large, and where this wood slat is, they can do their business on it, and it's kind of hard to clean.
The hardwire cloth on the bottom, though, is really what you want to use to keep them off the ground.
And it makes it easier for the waste to fall through. This is one of our does. She should be due sometime next week.
These are meat rabbits.
It's her buck.
He's hiding.
In the daylight, so they're sleeping. And the last doe. She should be due by the end of the weekend. As you can see, again, we're still learning to take care of these guys. We thought this would be a good idea so they wouldn't soil the bottom of the cages because it's just made out of plywood and we'd be able to just lift this out and dump their waste off of it. But as you can see, they decided to chew on it instead. So back to the drawing board on that one. It's trial and error. You'll learn. Just have to figure out what works for you. Let's move on to the bees. Well, while we're here, I'll go ahead and talk about the garden. This is our garden. It's a small plot. We're still working on the design.
If you're wondering why the fence is around it, it's because we let our chickens free range, and when you have your garden growing during the summer, they'll get in and eat all of your tomatoes and peppers. So.
And next spring we're gonna have to increase the height of the fence because they can jump right over.
What really works good with the rabbit hutch right now that we have is we have wheels on the bottom of it so we can pull it around the garden, and their waste falls through the hardwire cloth and just fertilizes our garden for us.
Probably about a month before we plant until it's under, we'll start hauling their waste away to the compost pile so that the garden has time to break it down.
Okay. On to the bees.
Wanna do the fence?
So, these are our 2 beehives. We're gonna have to walk around to get to them. But we got these last spring. And if you're wondering what the number is, in Illinois you're required to register your bees with the Illinois Department of Agriculture, so we did that, and that is our apiary number. The hive on the left I bought from a dealer in Danville, Illinois, and the one on the right I basically stole the design from the one I bought and built that one. So I want to shut the camera off for a second so we can walk around the fence to get to the front of it. So these are our hives. They're not very active right now. It's pretty chilly still in the morning. We've got them winterized for the most part. There's a few more other things that we could do with them to help them sustain themselves during the winter, which put black tar paper around the beehive to help hold heat in. I don't think we're going to do that though. When we got these, we bought 3 pounds packages of bees, which 3 pound package of bees is about 10,000 bees plus a queen. And this hive did really well. And this hive over here, at some point in time, when we first got them, the queen was lost, and we started noticing queen cells on the frames. So we had to requeen this hive, so it's a little behind this one as far as production goes. We didn't get a whole lot out of them this year, and we're hoping that next year we'll get more. But we did get some honey this year, and it was pretty good. It was well worth it. Now you see we have winterized. There's in the top here there is a inner cover. To winterize it, you have to flip it over so that it's upside down to help release vapor from condensation. Where the bees are at right now, they're inside here and they're all balled up trying to keep the heat in. So you create heat and keep each other warm, so that creates condensation. And you don't want that condensation getting on the top and just dripping down on the bees and killing them. So you flip the inner cover, that way the condensation escapes. You have to put your introducer on here, and mainly it helps the bees defend the hive better, because right now they're low on food and they're cold, and their population is starting to fall. So the introducer helps them defend the hive better, but it also keeps out mice and other critters that you don't want in here. This hive actually almost had a mouse get into it. What was it, like a week or 2 ago?
Yeah.
So, and then that's when we realized, oh yeah, we got to put the introducers on there. So it's all a learning process. We've only had these. This is our first fall with them, and hoping that they make it through the winter. Now, because they're low on food, there isn't any flowers blooming right now. If there are, there's very few. We have to make a sugar syrup to give them some food to sustain themselves. Now they have food in there as well, but this just helps them gather more food, and they'll last longer. And this is better for them to have another food source. There's also pollen patties that we've placed on the tops of the frames on the inside of the hives to help them eat as well. And we didn't do any medication or anything like that. All the books say you're supposed to do medication, but I mean, I've read other things where people say just let them go natural and they'll be fine. So like I said, this is our first year, so we'll see how it goes. But that's our beehives. And there's a lot you can do, and there's a lot more that we can do. We just haven't had the time to do it. But this is our little backyard homestead for now, and we'll be adding more to it and over the next winter and spring. So hope you liked the video.